Michael Varney from Phumelela, a very warm welcome to the Red Zone. You're the National Marketing Manager. Just for the uninitiated, people that are not involved in the horse racing industry, Phumelela is what? The commercial arm of horse racing in the country?
Well, Jeremy, we're one of two operators in South Africa. Phumelela Gaming and Gold Circle is the other operator. And we put on the racing and we facilitate the tote side to things.
You say that, or the sense is, let me be fair, that the sense perhaps, and maybe it's an erroneous perception, is that maybe horse racing is past it. Yet you talk about a new consumer-centric identity. Where are you taking the sport? And then we can talk about the marketing.
Well, Jeremy, as you said, we do face a challenge. Our current core audience is very skewed in terms of age, and there is a huge misperception about the sport of horse racing. We're trying to change it back to the belief that it actually is a sport,
In fact, you make the point that it's a lifestyle. In what sense?
Well, you see, it's much more than just being able to lay a bet on a specific race, but changing the entire experience of the sport of racing and coming to the track. We're doing very well on the tote side to things. Our share price is rocketing, but it's about the experience of getting people to the race course. What a lot of people don't know is we race 364 days a year. And where most people identify with the horse racing is our big events, the Sansui Summer Cup, the JMB Met and the Vodacom Durban July. But there is so much more to the game than just that.
But how do you convince people from a marketing perspective to take that plunge and say, well, I've got my hard-earned entertainment rand, I can use it there, or I can perhaps go to a casino? Because I'm assuming that would be your biggest competitor.
Well, it's very,
or the movies, or whatever the case
correct.
is. Yeah.
You're very right there in that there is the market share is just so broad at the moment, and we've got so many other competitors. It's not just the casinos. It's whether you're going to go and sit on a pavement and have lunch on a Saturday, or you're going to go to a movie. But it's about reintroducing the sport as a lifestyle event, and when under no illusion that the current audience is not just, they don't know much about racing, but it's about getting them back to the course and experiencing a day. And we're now focusing on more than just racing itself, in that it's the other experiences.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
What other experience are you selling in order to make it this lifestyle proposition?
Well, there are days that we're putting on at the moment, like the Triple Crown that's about to come up, where it's horse racing with a prawn festival and then horse racing with a craft beer festival. So introducing the lifestyle elements that will get people there, and we're hoping that conversion process will then allow people to start sharing their experience and getting more people interested in coming back to the track.
So you've put together a fairly comprehensive, from what I understand, through-the-line strategy. How is this working in terms of the different marketing platforms? In other words, what are you doing? How are you telling people?
Well, it's a very exciting time for the game itself, in that this is the first time in many years that all the industry stakeholders have come together, and we've decided to market the sport under one umbrella, which will be launching in a couple of months' time. And that's also been really important, because as opposed to every stakeholder sort of trying to market their own product, we are now putting it together and we're marketing the game as itself, so people actually understand what the industry itself entails.
Just in terms of the target consumer, who do you want to go there? Again, if I look in my mind's eye, I have a very definite picture of who I see the trackside punter to be. I'm assuming that's not the person or people that you're targeting right now.
Absolutely.
It's a different demographic, isn't it?
A completely different demographic. We're now looking to introduce the sport to a completely urban market, getting the younger generation there, and giving them an experience that they're able to consume in a better way than trying to force the betting side down their throats the whole time. And through this whole process, we're learning a lot about what the consumers think of the sport, but also what we need to give them in order to not only get them there for the big days, but get them coming back for the smaller days as well.
What about the betting itself, Michael Varney? Are you making it less complicated? If you go to the track, often you look at permutations and different mechanisms of betting. Again, to the uninitiated, that new target demographic that you're aiming for, it's difficult to understand.
It's very difficult to understand. I find it difficult myself some of the time, but what we've done now is we're really promoting the easier bets, a win, a place, a swinger, you know, so that your experience there is not so daunting as when you arrive on the track and now you want to get involved in the day itself. And you've now got all these different permutations to go through. It is very confusing, and your experience at the day is far better if you're able to place a bet on a win or a swinger, and then you see those thoroughbreds coming past. It really is a raw thrill, and that's really what engages the consumer.
That's good to hear. You don't need an MBA from Gibbs in order to go and learn how to bet. Just very quickly, responsibility is critical. Every method of gambling has got to carry a responsibility message. I presume that is core to your communication as well.
Absolutely. The sport of horse racing is so regulated, and we understand why. And that is why our big drive from an on-course perspective is not to drive the betting so much, but to drive the on-course experience, enjoying a day at the races, whilst also remembering to be responsible, and that it is a no under 18s gambling. No under 18s can gamble, but you can still bring your kids to the course and experience a great day out for the family.
Michael Varney from Phumelela, National Marketing Manager, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.